Technology. Our next speaker is a lawyer by training. He researches and teaches in media law and policy. He is also the author of Ordering Chaos, Regulating the Internet. Recently, he co-edited a 3-volume encyclopedia on digital communications and society. In Singapore, he is the legal advisor of the Advertising Standards Authority of Singapore and had served as the founding president of the Internet Society Singapore chapter. He is also currently the professor at the Wee Kim Wee School of Communication and Information in NTU, Singapore, and the immediate past president of the International Communication Association, where he is the first Asian elected. Let's put our hands together and invite Professor Peng Hwa for his presentation.
Okay, thank you and good morning. I was somewhat conflicted in my attire because usually for such meetings I wear a tie, but then the digital, you see. Right? People digital are supposed to be a little cooler, so I was like, okay, tie or no tie, so I'm kind of torn here. You see the rest of the speakers here will have ties. I want to thank David for the presentation, kind of interesting, I think you all agree. And I will note also that you're from Israel, right? And when he spoke a little bit, I thought he was from Mexico. And you all know why, right? Because in Singapore, when our first soldiers went to the army, because of our neighbors, right, the sensitivities there, they said that they were from Mexico. That these people training us are from Mexico, and the people like, how come Mexico? Why Mexico's training us in Singapore? Like, how come, And you should know also that where I work, and those of you working in the West, you should know that we favor Jews. You know that, right? That's why we call Jurong. Because, seriously, okay? The area was owned by a Jew man, and so he was called Jew Orang, which contracted became Jurong. So now you know the history about Singapore, how important, Israel, right, exactly, right. And also our first chief minister, was a Jew, right, David Marshall. So we really love the Jews here, right? Okay. All right, so let me begin now. Okay, this is the issue of building trust. We trust him. Okay. We don't trust technology sometimes, but okay. Okay, so this is my talk, and I think the issue here that we have faced nowadays is that of building trust. And it's interesting that Roger talked about China, because I happened to be there for a week, just last week in Shanghai, and I was astonished how much they'd use the technology. Even in the canteen, so the student had to buy me dinner. Really paiseh, embarrassing, right? Because the student is buying you dinner, like a professor and the student buying you dinner, But I couldn't pay in cash. They didn't take cash. Right? I had money, quite a bit of money, right? Sorry, not useful, right? Okay, so the issue of trust is this, right? So in the digital marketing space, right, anybody can be a digital marketer, right? You all know that, right? So okay, right. So because there is no certification. I'm a journalist by training, and one of the issues is that for journalism, at any one time, some people can write better than any trained professional journalist. Okay, I have done it before as a student in law school also. I wrote an article for Sunday Times, and my page got really big play. Okay, so one time, almost a full page, which is kind of unusual, right, as a student. But on any one time, some of your people can do a much, much better job than you. The difference is this: as a professional, you can do it consistently. I cook complicated dishes, only complicated dishes, at least 12 hours to prepare. Okay? The difference, I cannot do it consistently. One day is very good, next day why like that, no? But let's go to a canteen or, right, outside a hawker center, right? The difference is that as a professional, you do it consistently. But on any one time, anybody can be better than us one time. So this is a problem of results, looking at results, right? This is I did a search on social media influencers, and this one came up. It's kind of interesting how we see, Google says, okay, these are your digital marketers, right? It's the issue here. Okay. So how do you, if you don't know who they are, okay, they have nice long hair, they use some shampoo ads, right? Right? What else can they do? How do we know them? How do we trust them, right? Okay, so this is an issue with us. So my diagnosis is this. Sorry, I know theory, right? Practice, I don't know. Okay, So my cooking, I follow the recipe down. My vegetable, 195 grams, 195 grams. 196, You saute the dish, it's 45 seconds, I've got 45 seconds. Okay, is it ready? 45 seconds? Okay, quick, take it out. Done. 45 seconds. Recipe books that don't work off, I throw away. For those that work, I will follow, right? So my diagnosis, right, of this situation is asymmetric information. I'll tell you what it is. This idea came from this man called George Akerlof. As you can see, he is a very serious person because he has got a Wikipedia page. We know that anybody's got a Wikipedia page is serious. We know that. So David, if you don't have yet, you gotta be on Wikipedia. I mean, then we know that you're for real, right? Before that, like, who is this? One smartphone or whatever, right? Okay. George Akerlof was a Nobel Prize-winning economist. I'm happy to announce I discovered him before he became big time. This guy's theory is useful for me. I discovered him in like 2000, and then like a few months later, he won the Nobel Prize for economics. He's a very powerful man also because he's married to Janet Yellen, the chair of the Federal Reserve Bank in the US. So, talk about power couple. Okay, this is a power couple. So, his theory is this, and in fact, he won the Nobel Prize for this theory, which, by the way, is not intuitive. It's not common sense. Okay, and his paper is probably the most rejected paper for Nobel Prize-winning economists. Right? Many people say, this is rubbish. In academic world, we send our papers into unknown reviewers, and they can sometimes reject, right? So his theory, not intuitive, is this, that if you only have information, right, as a way to judge a product, and this information is incomplete, or in its term, we use asymmetric, right? I'll tell you what it is in a bit, then bad information will lead to downfall of the market. Okay, and actually, the term is actually, the market is actually destroyed. So this is a theory, so let me show you how it actually worked in Singapore. Okay, so here's what he did. I think used cars, right? Now, we all know used cars has a very bad reputation. I'm one of the vice presidents of the case, and I'll tell you that used cars, by the way, has the biggest number of complaints, because by value. So if you're buying a used car, please use something called case trust. It's not a commercial message because if you come and see us, we collect some money from you. So it's not in fact, so if you don't come and see us, we don't collect money from you, right? So I will tell you to use case trust because you get better results. And again, I'll tell you all this in a bit. Okay, so you know this, right? For advertising, which is what we all do, right, in this space, right? Some information is known to both buyer and seller, some information is not, right? Okay, so information is it's not only to the seller, which means it's like an advertisement, right? Because as a buyer, you don't know the condition of the car, right? As a buyer, okay, David, I mean, we love you, but we don't know the product yet, right? It's asymmetrical, David. I'm sorry, we love you, but it's asymmetrical. Okay, so now here's what he did for his the theory. I put this Bugatti Chiron, not my dream car. My dream car is the Aston Martin DB11. I know. Because James Bond drove it, you see, so I was uncle's going to drive. I'm an uncle, but I also want to drive the car, right? Bugatti Chiron is the most expensive car in the world, about $2.something million. I don't know what they do inside, okay, gold taps or whatever, whatever. But okay, so he says that suppose you have a bad car, okay, you want to sell it, right? Owners of bad cars want to sell, right? But if you have a good car, right, you want to sell it at the same price as the bad car, right? You think, hey, my car is better. Why should I sell at the same price, right? Okay. So what happens is that in the long run, you will hold back your car, right? If you have a good car, you will not want to sell it. But the bad guy says, hey, I want to sell the car, right? And so there's this pressure on the price of the car, right? And in the long run, what happens is that the good cars will disappear from the market because good car says, I don't want to rent at this price, Okay. I have a different model of accommodation. Where I live, I rent. I own a small condo near downtown, so I get a good rental. And then I live further away, so that the rental has in the past normally covered, but now the market is kind of bad for rental, so the market has gone down, and so it doesn't quite cover. But I'm still, preferring to rent. So I've been using the rental model. I've seen houses that stay empty for months. Okay, where I live, it's empty for months because the owner refuses to rent. It's too low a price, doesn't want to rent, right? So what happens is that those of where rent is like older houses. Okay, some maybe like this house of 1980, right? Yeah, how do you know 1980? I laid the tiles. My friends say, I laid those tiles, or I bought those tiles, or whatever. So, if you have a bad product, then the price will go down, and if you have a good product, you won't want to sell them. So the result is that these good products will disappear from the market. Okay, and eventually, only lemons will be supplied. Only lemons, okay. And so this market is destroyed. Classic case of where this happened is Sim Lim Square. Okay, David, Sim Lim Square, Some of the operators on the first, second floor, be very careful. We love you, so be very careful. Third and fourth floor, at Singapore, we know, okay, go ahead. We'll take our stairs, take the lift up. Don't go on the first, second floor, right? Don't. Okay? It's cleaned up a lot, okay, but when the incident happened, right, with the Vietnamese guy, the amount of business in that shopping mall dropped by 30%. Whole business. So if you are a landlord in a place, right, you actually should cut your rent by 30% because the whole business fell by 30%. Right? That's how bad it was, right? So this is the case of, the market was not destroyed, dented, but in some cases, market can be destroyed. You can see how this works. So let me give you some examples, right? Okay, right? So if the social media brouhaha, right, because social media, we already know it's one asymmetrical, right? We don't know the product, right? We don't know the service, right? Prediction says the market will drop to 0. Prediction. It's a question. Did that happen or not? Right? So you know what? You know the headline, right? Okay, Singtel said sorry. The CEO said sorry. Please, okay. At the level, they are the lovers, okay? They never ever say they're sorry. Okay? So people don't say they're sorry, right? So to say sorry is a really big deal. And you can see Chua Sok Kung, okay? Just tell you my age and how big time these people are, right? She was my schoolmate in school. So, yeah, I know. Okay, but yeah, no, big time. So I have some friends I can rub shoulders with, right? Okay. We regret that, okay, this employee did not adhere, terminated the services, basically sacked, right? And agency also basically was sacked as well, okay? But I don't know if you know the whole, some of you would probably know this, right? Behind the scenes, right? Ad budgets, dropped to 0. Market destroyed. Really, at least, okay, temporarily. It wasn't, I was surprised. I thought like maybe freeze or whatever, so slow down, but it's actually dropped to 0. In other words, people didn't spend. Okay, because you see, what happens if you spend, then people think, oh, this cannot be trusted, Which is why, again, many of you will know this, right? In a war setting, right? A lot of people watch TV, listen to radio, buy newspapers, but advertising they do not jump in. Because you don't be associated with this kind of, bad situation, right? What was a bad situation? The bodies, people dead, bombed, all that, so you don't want to be associated, right? So this was borne out. I myself was surprised because I expected something like this to happen. It's kind of waiting, we send guidelines, and then it dropped to actually to 0. I was really surprised. I was told this by some people in this marketing space. So the lessons, right, is that asymmetric information, one-sided and therefore unreliable, can cause markets to fail. Okay, so you need credible information, right? So now what do you do? And this is where all of you are concerned what to do, right? So Josh Akerlof had a solution, right? So he says signaling and screening. So in a way, all of you here are signaling, right? That you are serious about this space. What do you want to do to make your marketing more credible? How do you make sure that your marketing is not the other extreme, incredible, right? You want it to be believable to reach your marketers. So one of the ways that he suggested was self-regulation. Okay? And you will know why self-regulation, because the alternative to self-regulation is government regulation, which I think in the marketing space cannot work because you stifle your creativity. Okay? So the problem is now the question is, has it worked in Singapore or not, right? Okay, so this is the theory right now. Can you work or not? In Singapore, we are so different, right? Okay. So this is an example that I gave, and when I show this to audiences, especially American audiences, you can see the jaw fall to the floor, right? So let me tell you how to read the numbers. This is used car dealers self-regulation in Singapore. When you hear this, Americans like, I cannot believe self-regulation will work. Cannot work, anywhere, but Singapore, how does it work, right? Okay. So this is under case trust, and that's why I tell you, if you're buying a used car, please use the case trust self-regulatory model for cars. Okay? It works. Okay. So this is the number of complaints in 12 months, right? Before, right? 149, almost 150, right? This group, people who join self-regulation, not everybody joins, by the way. Not everybody joins. Because you must pay some money, you got to set up a scheme, you got to need appointed people and all that. So there's some real cost involved. 4 complaints. Okay. Because it's only 20% who join, right? You must times 5. Okay, so 5 times 4, 20. 6 months, make it 12 months, right? So 40. So proportionately, to keep this ratio the same, 40 complaints in 12 months versus 149 complaints. The difference is this, right? You guys will know, complaints is not just quantity, it's also quality of complaints. These complaints were easily resolved. Easily meaning within a month, okay, problem solved. Right? You don't have people running away for deposits, no defective cars, right? Easily resolved. So you can see the ratio here, the difference, right? And I will tell you that in case many people, my committee members, right, the other committee members were very nervous because like, hey, used cars, can we trust the dealers or not? Right? Because everywhere, like, used car dealers, right, low reputation, right? Sorry, you're any used car dealers here, don't take it personally. It's the industry, not you. We love you, but it's not you, right? But the theory says it can work. Okay, so the theory comes in, and in fact, it's shown to work. So actually, it is happening. The result, unfortunately, is that because this is working, some people are actually backing out. They're actually backing out. But as a whole, the number of complaints has actually fallen, right? And those people who, because they don't want to pay the money, they say that we don't pay the money, but we follow the guidelines. And so industry as a whole has improved, has cleaned up the act. Okay, now online world, okay, you can see this happening in Facebook, trying to improve the trusted space. I wrote an op-ed some months back talking about how in this space advertising will clean up the act. And so Facebook, you can see, is trying to clean the act. Google also, I don't have time, so I didn't drop Google. The YouTube, because there are some problems. If Google YouTube, look for YouTube and complaints, there was an investigation showing that ads appearing linked to extremist sites. And so Google had to clean up that bit as well. So I think in this space, things will improve. So in fact, on a fake news front, I think the situation will improve, right? The point though is this, that these are experts in the marketing space. They're trying to clean up the act. And so I think you all as managers here have to be very conscious that without this kind of cleaning up, you will have issues down the road. Your ads will not be trusted. Your marketing will not be trusted. In the long run, as a whole, the industry can lead to a downfall and a collapse. Okay, small plug here. Okay, my last slide. So in building trust in Singapore, what we try to do in the digital space is to have some guidelines for social media marketing. Okay, these are based on the example that we had 2 years now, 2015, the Singtel Gush Cloud incident. Actually, we had it ready for, in fact, about 2 years before that. No? But people were not motivated. They couldn't see the result. But because of the incident, people became aware that if you don't have this kind of guidelines, it's going to lead to destruction of the market. So we have some guidelines. These are self-regulatory. They are available online. You Google them. They are available online. The important thing is that it builds trust in the system. And I think in the long run, that leads to a healthier marketing situation, and therefore a healthier marketing industry. Okay, on that note, thank you.